So here's an update on Bella, the female green iguana who was severely burned by heat lamps that I rescued a couple of months ago. She is still alive. She's still hanging in there, but she is in bad shape, continues to be in bad shape, and it's going to be that way for a while because it generally takes a long time to rehabilitate reptiles, especially from something like this, severe burns and severe malnutrition, lack of UV lighting. She's got many serious issues going on, but she's being given IV fluids as needed, and electrolytes and free amino acids, and she's getting tube fed just about every day. But this is what happens when you don't study up on your reptile husbandry, and you spend more time researching, your new flat screen TV or what new phone you're going to buy or something than you do your exotic pet that you bought. Just a little bit of research could have prevented this. There's a lot of bad information out there, yeah, but there are some good iguana specific resources that could have told this person, it's not a good idea to house a green iguana on sand, and to have basically zero humidity in the terrarium, and the very intense heat lamps within about a foot of her skin. So this right here that's just dead skin. That's just scab, and I've opted, rather than trying to remove that and putting her through all the stress and pain of that, even though I've got lidocaine that would deaden that, I opted to just leave that scab in place as its own barrier dressing. A lot of times the best thing you can do for a wound is to leave the scab in place, because it's the body's going to be doing its own pretty good healing underneath there, and it just really complicates things. And it's so thick. That scab is so thick. I don't really think, and she's getting daily she's in the bathtub with Epsom salt and everything, and then this is sprayed down with aloe vera, and she's getting all kinds of topicals on it, and it's softened it up a little, but this is still just so thick that it's far too invasive and going to be too painful and stressful and potentially complicating to remove a scab that big and that thick, that much surface area. I'm afraid of what might be under there if I don't allow that to heal on its own some more, because her, I don't want to expose her spine, in other words, because other parts, this is starting to look pretty bad, as some of this retained shed. She had so much retained skin from prior sheds that didn't come off. And as this stuff is starting to come off, I'm seeing, she was basically burned all the way down to the muscle. That's what this is. When this is all done with, she's not going to have any scales on the upper side of her body. Now, it looks like she will on the tail and on her belly, but over here on the top and on the upper sides, it looks like that was all pretty much burned, full thickness, and that this is going to leave just the whatever very underlying skin there is underneath the scale. I don't think she's going to have any scale left over the upper surface of her body when this is done, and she's going to look like a badly burned, a badly scarred burn victim. That's what her skin is. Her skin is going to look like when this is all done with. She's just going to be one great big patch of scar tissue, unfortunately. So, this is going to take a very long time to get her better, and there's still a chance that she won't survive this. The situation is fairly critical that, you know, she still, at any point in the next few months, it's going to take this long to get her bounced back to a state where I would be comfortable in saying that, you know, she might have a chance to make it through this. It's just, for a lot of reptiles, it can take a while before you realize how much you messed up. If you're, you know, lay person, if you don't really know what you're looking at, it can look like, well, the reptiles go on and you have them for years, and you know, and they're still alive, but they suffer and die slowly. They're able to take a lot before they do die, but when they get in really critical shape like she is, even once they get on you know, a good protocol to try to bring them back, you know, medicine, treating the wounds, all the nutritional care, the tube feeding, fluid injections, you know, everything I can do for it's still going to take a number of months just to kind of get her out of the woods. It takes a very long time to rehabilitate reptiles also. Please remember this. Be mindful that of your proper care for whatever species you're keeping. Iguanas are not supposed to be housed on sand. They need fairly high humidity. They're very prone to kidney failure if they don't get enough fluids and their humidity is too low. Their skin dehydrates really bad, and they'll start to retain their shed. They can lose their toes because of that. And also your basking lighting, you know, she's a from like a tropical, the green iguanas are from like a tropical region, but they're not from the desert. And even the basking lamps that were over her would have been too intense for, you know, would have been too intense for a bearded dragon or something that does come from a desert or a very arid environment. And those UV lamps, especially those red ones, and those infrared, some of these really powerful little 50-watt infrared bulbs, they look like a little automotive, like a almost like a turn signal bulb. They're making them very small now, but they're very intense 50-watt bulbs. A lot of infrared on those things, as well as those red brooder lamps like a lot of people, you know, buy from the farm stores and stuff to use for chickens. A lot of people will use those over reptiles. Those things, those are like 250 watts. The infrared coming off those things is so intense that you will cook your reptile like it's a rotisserie chicken. That's like basically what happened to Bella here. Those intense infrared waves, they cause cellular dehydration of the surface. Most people who keep reptiles know about UVA, UVB, there's UVC. Well, you've got the same thing with infrared too. If it's not the proper type of infrared that has a deep tissue heating, then I believe it's infrared A. They're not very penetrating of the surface. They just dump all their thermal energy into the surface layers of the skin, and that doesn't really give the reptile that good body heating like say on a fall or a winter day when it's kind of chilly outside, but the sun's out. You step out of the shade where it's kind of chilly and you step into the sun, and that sunlight hits you, you know, that natural sun warmth, that deep body kind of warmth you feel. That's the kind of UV that you want. Use caution with those Baskin lamps out there, those ones that are really intense with the UV. Anyway, yeah, this is even if Bella recovers, she'll be disfigured for life.